Welcome to GNN. I'm your anchor, Red Nebula, and here's what's going on in your part of the system. It's official. Baby Roxnar Amblicious has been born, making him the 43rd heir to the Roxnarian throne. Ain't he just a cutie? Praise be to Overlord Roxnar Glofbar. Yesterweek, on planet KO68, in the Zegbar system, a device was found containing 5 quasars worth of Zentigrade explosives. After a tip from a local slave trader, galactic agents were able to pinpoint and disable the highly unstable device, thus saving our system. Board Flan rebels have since taken responsibility for the foiled plot. And now, for all news sports, we turn to Ace McKinley, direct descendant of the 25th President of the United Sovereign States of Earth, Willis McKinley. Ace told me to say that. So off to you, Ace.
Tuning in for sports is me, Ace McKinley, Intergalactic Sportscaster. This weekend has made official Rockets League history when our outstanding new rookie, our came out of nowhere dark horse, Blake Comet. 4 seconds left of the game, Bicycle hit the ball into the Beef Clan's goal from the roof of the stadium. An unbelievable feat for Rockets League champions across the Brazilian neighboring galaxies. And this just in, from planet Tatooine, the first ever human being, and a young boy at that, to ever win an official pod racing match has just taken home the gold. He was using a custom-built pod that, with the combination of pure luck, won him the title of the first human to win a pods match in yester forever. We hope to see quite a career for this boy in the yesteryears to come.
Thanks, Ace. And now for this yesteryear's weather. Take it away, Teve.
Thanks, Red. Yesterday in the observable universe, a dynamic space storm featuring molecular cloud clusters is expected to bombard solar system 7b3x. Billions of 7b3x citizens and lower life forms are expected to be displaced or vaporized. On the lighter side, this is a picture of a rainbow taken by viewer Blob Galax. Yestermorrow, we had quite a radiation blizzard on the new West Coast and high solar winds in the Gulf of Kansas. The suns will rise to kick off your morning hover commute at 3:11:77 a.m. and 6:30 z.m., and they will set at 7:30 z.m. and 12:02 a.m. Back to you, Red.
Thanks, Steve. To end this broadcast your Morrow Day, I bring you with great sorrow that Roxnar Amblicious, 43rd heir to the Roxnarian throne, has been assassinated by Roxnarian officials at the Capitol. He was the crisp age of .01 years old. Praise be to Roxnar Glofbar. And that's what's happening in your part of the system. As always, I am Red Nebula, keeping you informed and uneducated. Have a wonderful forever.
Hey everybody, I'm Chef Todd, and welcome to Under the Apple Tree, where I grow, build, and of course cook my way towards a handmade life. So hang out for a bit, and I'll share some of the things I've learned. Pickling is a universal preservation technique, with roots going back through time and across cultures. It is an effective way to save vegetables over time, and my favorite way to enjoy cucumbers, cauliflower, and some other vegetables. With a pressure cooker, you can even jar or pickle eggs and other proteins, but that's a story for another time. Sit back and enjoy the show.
We are entering the early canning season here in the Green Bay area. Cucumbers are ready and the pickles are being made by the peck. There are plenty of recipes from sweet to spicy to curry. The options are limitless. Today we are doing a spicy kosher pickle. We will be making a variety of cut types, a few whole, some spears, and then I have these overgrown cukes, which will be sliced up. The required ingredients for 6 1-quart jars: 6 to 10 pounds of cucumbers, 2 quarts of water, 2 quarts of vinegar, 1 cup of sugar, 1.5 cups of salt, and per jar, 1 head of dill, 1 garlic clove, half a jalapeno, half a teaspoon of pepper flakes, 3 to 4 coriander seeds, and a grape leaf. Wash the cucumbers and let them sit in cool water for a few hours. Remove dirt and nasty bits and cut as you prefer. I like spears. Ross and Amy prefer them whole, so we will do some of each. Sanitize the jars, lids, collars, and all the utensils in boiling water or a one-step sanitizer. Sanitizer is available at brewing and some culinary supply stores. Simply mix a tablespoon to a gallon of warm water, submerge the equipment, and allow to air dry. Prepare the jarring kettle by filling 2/3 of the way with water and bring to a boil. In a separate kettle, combine water, vinegar, sugar, and salt and bring to a boil. This combination of ingredients is referred to as a brine. Brines are integral in the pickling process, but can also be used to help keep poultry and pork moist. Meanwhile, in each jar, place dill, garlic, jalapeno, pepper flakes, coriander, and a grape leaf. Then fill with cucumbers, trying to keep things fairly tight. Fill each jar with a pickle brine up to 1/8 of an inch from the rim. Using a spatula, or this thing here, you could use anything, just make sure it's sanitized. The important thing in this step is to get rid of the air bubbles. The point of preserving is to protect against oxygen, which promotes the growth of harmful bacteria, so we try to remove as much air as possible. My lids are in the boiling water. I use this magnet to pull them out and place them over the jars. Screw on the collars and transfer them to the boiling water carefully using a jar lifter. Process for 10 minutes, remove from the water, again taking care and using the appropriate tools, place them on a towel to dry and finish sealing. Over time, the lids usually give a telltale pop when they seal. When you tap them with a wooden spoon, you can hear if they are properly sealed as well. You can now remove the collars, wipe down the jars, label them, and stash them away for the impending zombie apocalypse.
The hard part is waiting to crack these jars open. The flavor gets better over time. I would give it at least a few weeks before testing them out. Remember to follow us on Twitter at Apple Tree Show, subscribe and comment at the Under the Apple Tree YouTube channel, and watch for me at the Green Bay and Sheboygan Farmers Markets. Thanks again for hanging out, and join me next time under the apple tree.
Hey, welcome to episode number 1 of Pigskin Pundits. Today for the news, we'll have NFL injuries and upsets, and Pigskin Pundits Presents will be giving you a new football concept to chew on. All this and more, so stay tuned.
Hello, my name is Jake with your injury updates from this week. The key injuries for this week seems to come mostly from the quarterback position. Jay Cutler injured his hamstring Sunday and is out 1 to 2 weeks. Fellow NFC North quarterback Matthew Stafford is also doubtful for Sunday's matchup with the Broncos due to extreme soreness. Other quarterbacks that are injured include Drew Brees, which injured his shoulder in the matchup against Tampa Bay and may miss several games. But the biggest injury story comes from Dallas, where Tony Romo exited the game versus the Eagles and was diagnosed with a fractured clavicle and was put on the IR and at the earliest will be able to return week 11. There was a few surprising upsets this week in the NFL, which include Jacksonville's 23-20 victory over the Dolphins. Jameis Winston pulled a 26-19 upset victory over the Saints. The biggest upset of this week was the Raiders' 37-33 victory over the Ravens. That is all of the NFL news this week.
What's wrong, Brandon? You should be happy. The Packers won.
Jacob, I hear announcers talk about 3-4 defense all the time, and I just don't get it.
All right, let's go inside. I'll explain it to you. At the basic level, all a 3-4 defense means is that there's 3 defensive linemen, 4 linebackers, and your 4 in the secondary, your cornerbacks and your safeties.
That's it?
As far as the name goes, yeah, but there's a lot going on that the name implies. Your defensive linemen are going up against offensive line basically every play. But you have a lot of flexibility in what your linebackers can do in a 3-4 defense. Depending on the situation, they could blitz the quarterback, they could go back to drop and cover a tight end or a running back, or they can do some other stuff to try and confuse the quarterback. Like I said, there's a lot of flexibility.
How would having 4 linebackers confuse the offense?
Well, it's not necessarily how many there are, but what they can do. What a particular linebacker is doing can change on every play. They could blitz the quarterback 3 plays in a row, and then on the 4th play, they'll all of a sudden drop back to cover a running back or something. If the quarterback still thinks they're blitzing, maybe the quarterback will try and throw out here to the running back. Could be a pick for the linebacker, it could just be a knockdown pass, it could just be a bad pass for the offense, who knows? Even if they are blitzing, they don't always have to come from the same spot. They could come around the edge here one play, the next play they could gap in between a couple of the defensive linemen, something else that can confuse the quarterback. If they want to make it even more complicated, they can have a cornerback or a linebacker drop out and cover somebody in a short area like this and have the cornerback come in and blitz the quarterback, something that can really confuse especially a younger quarterback.
That sounds pretty impressive. Why wouldn't every team use a 3-4?
Well, there's a few big downsides to it as well. For one, it's pretty dependent on having really good linebackers and, to a lesser extent, good defensive linemen. It's especially important to have at least one linebacker who is really good at rushing the quarterback. Another point, only having 3 defensive linemen can make it easier for the offense to run on the defense. You're going to have 5 linemen blocking 3 defensive linemen whenever the offense decides to run it. So those linemen can make it a lot easier for the running back to get some decent running room. It gets a little more complicated than that because the linebackers play into it a lot. But at a basic level, it's easier to get small amounts of yards at least.
So this defensive setting is best for what kind of plays?
It's generally best against teams that pass more out of their 2 receiver sets. It makes it a lot easier to disguise what you're doing. Because you can change, like, you can have a linebacker blitzing from one side and then the next play they'll blitz from the other side or something. Or like I said, having cornerbacks or safeties or something blitz.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I understand. Thanks a lot, Jacob.
Yeah, no problem. That's it for this episode of Pigskin Pundits. Thanks for watching and tune in next week.
All right, everybody, break up into your groups, get to work.
All right, so what we can do is...
All right, so this project's due, like next week, and we have 4 hours of class. I say we go order a pizza, watch some anime, and start working on this, like, Monday night. Who's with me?
There's a project?
Yeah, we have to draw.
Oh, I thought he was just talking to hear himself talk. I didn't know there was a project.
Well, I wouldn't have been surprised if that's what he was up to.
Well, we have like 4 hours. How about we work on it and then come back and then we order a pizza?
Sounds good, as long as there's pizza.
Ooh, text message.
Really? What? Quick, let's draw!
Calm down, we'll just go last. Not a big deal.
Mr. Teacher, sir, can we go last? Hey guys, thanks for watching this first episode of Student Survival Guide on TC Weekly. Have you ever had a similar or really poor experience in a group? Let us know in the comments or let us know on Facebook or Twitter, links in the description below, and you may just be featured on our next episode of Student Survival Guide. Have a good one.
MTE Movies Tech Entertainment News. So recently, superhero movies have just substantially grown in popularity. Marvel and DC already have films set out to release in 2020. But what about the films that don't get the popularity? What about the ones that aren't Marvel and DC or don't get a major release? Well, here I'm going to take a look at the top 5 most underrated superhero flicks. Number 5. Ghost World. This drama comedy about two girls and their friendship is technically not a superhero film, but it is based on the graphic novel of the same name. Receiving plenty of critical praise, including a 4 out of 4 by Roger Ebert, this movie was a hit with the critics, but unfortunately failed to find an actual audience. Creating fantastic characters and an enjoyable plot, you should not miss out on this film.
I can't help but feel I had some small part in how you turned out.
Number 4. Defender. Starring Woody Harrelson, this film deals with an ordinary man who, at night, becomes a superhero whose goal is to defend the city. Its dark humor gives it a unique charm, and Woody Harrelson's performance is great, as always.
Shit, man.
Unfortunately, this film came out the same time as Kick-Ass and ended up being branded a Kick-Ass clone, which it really was not.
Who are you supposed to be? Your worst nightmare.
Number 3. Darkman. Now before Liam Neeson became Ra's al Ghul, he was a vengeful anti-hero, Darkman. After becoming severely burned, Liam goes back to get revenge on the people who did it. A brainless, fun, revenge thriller, Darkman is an extraordinarily enjoyable B-flick. However, being a B-flick, it never garners the attention that it quite deserved. Number 2. Super. This is another film that came out during the Kick-Ass era, and just like Defender, ended up being branded as a clone. In it, a man has a dream of becoming a superhero all his life and one day decides to go for it. Funny, cool, and serious where it has to be, Super is a hell of an experience.
What? I didn't know I wasn't supposed to kill him. I mean, I'm just learning. You have to teach me these things.
How am I supposed to tell crime to shut up if I have to shut up?
Number 1. Batman Under the Red Hood. I cannot say enough good things about this film. The acting is great, the animation is fantastic, the writing is outstanding, and it brings to life one of the best stories in Batman, the story of Red Hood. Of course, despite holding its all against the other Batman films, it only ever got a video release. Because of this, very few have heard of this movie and even fewer have actually seen it. This is a true shame, especially considering this
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
Got released in theaters.
You know, it only hurts when I laugh.
So what is your favorite unknown superhero movie? Did you agree with my choices? Drop a comment below and check us out on our social media while you're down there. Or visit us at tcweekly.org. And don't forget to tune in for the next episode of MTE, Movie, Tech, and Entertainment News.